I'm doing kind of this made up loop-de-loop, I guess you could say. Normally I would head up the South Loop Trail to Charleston Peak and then down Trailhead Canyon. However, Trail Canyon is closed due to storm damage as well as the Mary Jane Falls Trail. So I'm extending my trip, almost doubling it, by making it from the South Loop Trail to the North Loop and then a little road walk. So in all, it's going to be about a 25-mile round trip. So according to the Onyx Backcountry app, the next mile is just a mile of switchbacks, which is when, instead of you just going zoop up the mountain, you go zoop, 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 zoop. Which I guess that's better than, but still zoop, 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 can still be exhausting. And it's actually really humid up here. We had some monsoons come through, so I feel like I'm back in South Carolina if South Carolina was at 8,000 something feet of elevation. So I just took a little break after those few switchbacks, ate some trail mix. You can tell I've increased in altitude because, like me, all my snacks have become big-backed. Now I'm heading back up, more switchbacks to the ridgeline. While I was taking my break, this group of teenagers come up, and it just amazes me how, like, when I go for a hike, I'm like, okay, do I have my trail runners? Do I have my trekking poles? Do I have my inReach? Do I have everything I need? How much water do I need? I'll probably overpack water. Here comes a group of teenagers just coming up here, just like in regular clothes, like maybe a water bottle, maybe. Like, I get they're day hikers and I'm backpacking this route, but man, I don't think I even had that energy when I was a teenager. Officially entering the Mt Charleston Wilderness. Get some storm damage, but I'm going that way. Not gonna lie, not really a fan of these clouds. Haven't heard any thunder yet. Well, Vegas is typically dry. It is monsoon season, especially up here in the Mt Charleston Wilderness, so we'll just have to keep an eye on that. And there she is, my first view of Mt Charleston. Slowly but surely making my way to the ridgeline, but I just ran into a very nice hiker. We just got to chit-chat, and he's done Charleston Summit before. But I noticed his hat. He had a Glacier National Park hat, which is definitely on my bucket list, despite the grizzly bears. And, you know, he was just telling me about that, and he's also been to Banff. He's been to Olympic National Park, so it's always fun to see, like, where everyone's been. I mean, I'm from South Carolina. We do have some beautiful state parks, and there is Congaree National Park, but we don't really have to worry about altitude. Per my watch and the map, I have made it to 10,000 feet elevation. This is the highest I've ever been, but Mount Charleston is even higher at 11, so I just heard some rumbling from over there, which I don't like. Just gonna try to stay below tree line, and if I have to barrel down this mountain and try to summit outside of monsoon season, I guess I will. I was almost to the ridge line and see this big old honking storm behind me that just popped up out of nowhere, and noticed the trees seemed to be getting shorter, so I was getting close to above tree line, which is not what you do when you're out here and there's lightning. So I'm gonna go back down just a wee bit, make sure the trees are taller than me, and probably eat a snack or lunch. It's probably time for lunch. Well, I stopped for lunch and the big scary cloud moved on, but then there's some less terrifying but still menacing clouds coming in, so we shall see. Seems like there was some trail maintenance. And as you can see, the scary clouds are starting to move away towards Las Vegas, so hopefully they'll stay away. Maybe give Vegas some rain. Who knows? This right here is some of the prettiest views I've ever seen. Except for that big old scary cloud. We do not do the scary cloud. If you look right there, you can actually still see some snow that hasn't melted yet. But it sounds like there's not a lot on the trail, so it's all I care about, because I don't have snow gear on me. So I'm up here at the junction. So that way is going to be Mount Charleston. That way is going to be Griffith Peak. And there are a lot of storms kind of forming just all around. I knew it was a risk coming up here during monsoon season. Some of these clouds look pretty darn gnarly. And I don't know if any more are going to come out. So as much as I would like to spend the night up here, I also don't want to get struck by lightning. Just looking around, I can see a lot of trees that caught on fire because of lightning strikes, and I'm not trying to be that kind of tree. So as much as I hated lugging my pack up here, I think I'm gonna go back down. Maybe Great Basin National Park will be better to me, but right now it's not. I don't feel safe staying up here or continuing, because I'm pretty much on ridge line for the next 5-6 miles. So I think I'm gonna go head back to my car, Jarvis, lug all this stuff back down, and head home just for my safety. You know, I am really bummed that I'm not spending the night out here in the Mt Charleston Wilderness, because it is really beautiful, but do wish there was a little more water so I don't have to carry so much up and down. But you know, you always have to put safety first, like I said, and you know, just kind of help me clear my mind. I've been dealing with lots and lots of anxiety, lots and lots of depression this year. Grandfather passed away in January. It really took a toll for me. Ended up leaving my job in the Bay Area, moving back to Vegas just to have more of a support system, closer to my family. And yeah, it's just been kind of tough, and really wanting to get out in the backcountry and sleep and poop in the woods. But you know, this trip wasn't a total waste is what I'm saying. Like, I'm really glad I came out here. I've also had some health issues lately, most likely related to the stress and depression and anxiety and all that good stuff. But, you know, I was able to climb to the highest altitude I've ever been. It's only up from here until I climb Whitney. Then I don't know what I'm going to do after that. But we'll keep watching the weather. I'll do more research into Great Basin National Park. I'll have a partner with me so I'm not just trumping along. But, yeah. Top of that, also, I've just been really burnt out with my career. I've been a NICU nurse for 3 years now, and I kind of hit the ground running. You know, I wanted the sickest of the sick at the level 4 NICU, which is like the sickest sick NICU that you can start at. I then wanted to immediately get my first certification after being a nurse for a year. 6 months after that, get my second. 6 months after that, get my third specialty certification. I help with a small business that is focused on NICU education. I am involved on the national level with 2 separate organizations. I'm just burnt out, and I was literally in tears with my partner the other day because I just felt like I wasted my 20s. I'm going to be 29 this year, and I know 30's not old. 30 is the new 20, especially with these grocery prices. But, it's not all glamorous out here. But, like I said, it just, when I first became a nurse, I told myself that that nursing was going to be my job. That was it. Just my job. And, you know, I was going to clock in, clock out, and then just got sucked into my career. And oddly enough, I'm supposed to go back to graduate school this fall. Who knows where I stand on that at this point. But with the nursing just being my job, I really had the intention of getting my 2 years, doing some travel nursing gigs, and hiking the PCT, or the Pacific Crest Trail, which goes from Mexico to Canada. And I know y'all are like, well, if you can't handle that little bit of lightning, listen, on a long distance trail, I would have to deal with the lightning, but I literally could see my neighborhood from up there. So this is not a through hike, it's a backpacking trip, or was supposed to be a backpacking trip. Anyway, and then, do little travel nursing contracts, then hit the CDT, or the Continental Divide Trail, and then do some cute little travel nursing contracts, and then hit the Appalachian Trail. And then that would complete the Triple Crown of hiking here in the U.S., and then maybe after that, the Arizona Trail, just because Arizona's not a desert. There's actually some really beautiful parts to Arizona. If you guys want to see or learn more about the Arizona Trail, look up my favorite through hiking YouTuber, Dixie, also known as Homemade Wanderlust. She's so freaking amazing. But I'm just I have the car, I have the house. It's a rental, but it's a house. And I just feel so far in the rat race. Don't know really how to get out, but I may never hike or complete the Triple Crown, but I will enjoy the weekend backpacking trips. I will enjoy kayaking down the Colorado River. The Sierras aren't that far from me. One day I will, summit Mount Whitney once I get all this anxiety under control. But, I just really have to learn how to deal with the burnout I'm facing. And I know I'm not the only nurse out there that feels this way. They may not want to hike thousands of miles across the United States, but, they also feel trapped and feel like they have nowhere to go. But, we're going to get through it, you guys. Nursing in this country is messed up. California does it pretty darn good, but nowhere else wants to shell out the money to have safe ratios, to have great nurses, to provide mental health resources for their employees, and it's just the reality of it. You know, healthcare is a business. That is a hard reality I had to learn really early in my career.